going to Madisonville, Tennessee. Reading from WBIR.
Okay. A Monroe County woman is vowing to get justice after authorities kept her 74-year-old father restrained more than 9 hours in a chair at the county's Justice Center, mostly while wearing a hood, until he fell unresponsive and died. What happened over the course of the afternoon and evening of February 6, 2025, inside the Monroe County Justice Center should never happen again to anyone, said Wendy Duncan, daughter of Lester Isbill, a retired pastor in declining health. It started with a 911 call. Isbill, full name Elijah Lester Isbill of Tellico Plains, had stopped by Security Finance in Madisonville the afternoon of February 6, 2025, to pay a bill. It was something he'd done before. This time, however, the farmer and former pastor at 3 Point Baptist Church became ill enough and disoriented enough that someone at the office thought it was time to call for help.
So just to interject real quick, this, again, unfortunately, is another pattern, a theme, whatever you want to call it, that we see just talking about the cops every week and what they're up to, which is someone in desperate and obvious need of medical attention, cops coming across them and just fucking throwing handcuffs on them and throwing them in jail. We've had multiple people having strokes when the cops come across them and just like slap them with a DUI and throw them in jail. And this is beyond just the constant plethora of people having like clear mental health problems and the cops reacting negatively to that. But this is physical, like literal medical.
Oh, yeah. It's like at this point, you've completely lost your humanity. Like you are not a human being anymore. You are seeing someone having a medical emergency and you're saying, oh, you know what? I actually feel like torturing someone today. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this guy back, put a hood on him for hours. This pastor, like literally
74-year-old
go to
man.
hell. You know, I hope hell is real. Or reincarnation or whatever. Like, it's like, because what at this point, like, what are you doing as a human being? Like that you just, this is how you handle the impulse of seeing a person needing your help. Yeah. Like, truly, I don't know what word to use other than like evil. It's not there's nothing to joke about it, but.
Yeah. But let's keep going with the article.
Okay. EMS and a Madisonville police officer arrived. Isbill already was in declining health, his daughter said, with a relatively new pacemaker and signs of failing mental acuity. In 2024, soon after getting the pacemaker, he'd pulled over while driving after feeling sick, but authorities thought he was impaired, so they charged him with a DUI, Weiss and Duncan said. Isbill wasn't a drinker, and the case was eventually dropped, Duncan said, but it left him afraid to ever go back to the Monroe County Justice Center.
So this story keeps getting more and more absurd. Like, this has been a pattern that they have previously accused this man with ailing health of being under the influence. They've not only is it so insane to see an old man who needs help, anyone just being sick and just reacting just like, tell it to the judge, motherfucker. Not only is that absurd enough, but the fact that it's happened before. They've had experience with this in a small, tiny town. I looked it up. This town, Madisonville, Tennessee, is like less than 3,000 people. So I find it hard to believe that, like, what is going on here? Like, I don't want to, like, make accusations that no one else is making, but it's like, it's so incompetent that it starts borderline suspicion. The fact that they have previously encountered this man needing medical help and have previously accused him of DUI, and yet again, they seem to be doing it.
I mean, they've completely lost it all. I mean, just think of how many times just that you or me, like, I work with seniors as my job. Like, it's pretty obvious when a senior citizen is struggling, like having trouble getting oxygen, having trouble walking, like for your brain to go to, oh, they must be so, not only are they impaired, but so physically a threat to me that I need to put a hood
Yeah.
over their head and just ignore them. Like, there's no way that should be your impulse. There's no way. The only thing could be that you want to torture this person. You want to abuse an elderly person, which unfortunately there are people like that, and it's sick and wrong.
Yeah, and it's like this guy. It said, he was a pastor. If you're a pastor at a town with 2,500 people, I think it's fair to say that like people know who you are.
Yeah,
You're like one of the few pastors at the church, and they see him in his car, and they're like, "Oh, there goes the town drunkard who's like the local pastor we all know. Let's fucking arrest him and take him to jail." It's like, it's like you said, they're like literally terrorizing this town. I mean, if the cops weren't in this town, it would be a much better place. Just based on this one story, we can confidently say that. Anyways, I'm sorry. Let's keep going with the story.
Weiss said EMS determined his blood pressure was high, but he wasn't getting enough oxygen to his brain. Isbill, who used a cane to get around, didn't want to go to the hospital. Even after his daughter, who had power of attorney, showed up to intervene, he still didn't want to get medical help. Police decided to charge him with disorderly conduct, a low-level misdemeanor, and take him to jail.
Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
Once in the hands of Monroe County Sheriff's personnel, things got worse for Isbill, Weiss said. He was put in his cell by himself, where videos showed him raising his hands as if talking to someone and tottering around the small room. He didn't have his cane, video shows, and he fell head first, striking his head. A jail incident report later stated Isbill was intoxicated and very unsteady on his feet when he came in. Another report said he was intoxicated. But Duncan said her father didn't drink. Testing after death would show no alcohol or drugs except for naloxone and caffeine. The February 8, 2025 autopsy performed by the Regional Forensic Center in Knoxville shows.
Naloxone. So they fucking gave him Narcan.
Yeah.
Were they really this convinced that this 74-year-old man, who they've previously falsely accused of having a DUI, they know now he has medical issues. The daughter is telling them he has medical issues. They can just look and say he has medical issues, and they're still somehow so convinced. Like it's whether or not it's baffling. Like I don't know what to make of it, but regardless, it's clearly, like you said, inhumanity. But it's like cops really have this contempt for the public.
Right.
They really look at the public. It's not no protect and serve. It's that we are a threat to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, either way you look at it, either they are, very stuck in this war on drugs mindset where they're just going to pull everyone over and assume it's drugs, even when it's someone who clearly is missing his cane and is an elderly man who needs help, even after the EMS tells them, even after the daughter talks to them. They're just going to be stuck on that one-track mind, or they are deep in their, Stanford prison experiment mindset where they just want to torture people and they view the public as the enemy. And after they realize they killed a man, this is what I think happened, they know he's not going to be drunk. They know he's not going to have drugs in the system. They put something there to show that they really believed he was on opioids.
Yeah.
Because, did they think... They didn't seem to think that at all. Like, they were claiming he was drunk.
Yeah.
So they should know that Narcan is not going to bring a drunk person back.
Yeah.
But
I think the drunk might have been the previous time where they pulled him over in 2024, charged him with a DUI. But regardless, I could be wrong about that though. But regardless, your point stands of them potentially here being just trying to cover their tracks.
yeah. Or even if it was, some Hail Mary that, oh, maybe he actually did have something going on. Let's try to bring him back. They had to have known they were torturing him with, there's no way he needed a spit hood on.
Exactly. It's a 74-year-old man who's acting like he's acting disoriented.
That's also not even something you would, like, isn't that for, like, when you are literally, like, someone's in danger of, like, biting your hands?
Yeah.
Like, when you are, or someone's in danger of, like, biting themselves, like, biting something.
Yeah.
For a moment when you're, like, maybe arresting them.
Yeah.
And then you would take it off.
Yeah.
Because they're handcuffed.
Yeah.
So, and you're far away from them. So why would, like,
yeah,
there's no version where it's not.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. Like, the only time I see these hoods being used, it's like in movies, and it's like some black site type of shit going on. Something dark is happening in a fictionalized movie. But to see it being used in real life on a 74-year-old man who's like needs medical help, it's like, yeah, these cops seem to be the type who are just a pattern of torture. It's like me and Ashton talked a lot about the Rankin County in Mississippi. Similarly, in the South, small town, they were able to just completely run amok and torture the population they were supposed to be helping. And this might be a similar sort of culture going on.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
in this
like
department.
You were just doing that abortion cop character. That's like what these guys, they think they're like the Punisher. They're going out, they're like, gonna whatever, not take names and go. But there's not the kind of crimes they're wanting to solve are not what's actually available to them in this town of 3,000 people. So they're just having to go around and harass whoever
it's
they
an
can
old
find.
man who needs help.
Yeah.
My 100-year-old grandfather died late last night in his sleep, surrounded by loved ones, but I suspect foul play.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's something personal too. I mean, I know lawyers who work with clients who are older who will all of a sudden get all these charges on them, DUIs and things, and then it'll turn out there's some kind of family connection to the cops or some kind of personal vendetta.
Especially in a little small town like this. It literally doesn't make any sense what we're reading. So I agree. There has to be something more to this.
Yeah. I mean, it could literally be anything, like something with the church. Like, I mean, it's just...
It makes no sense.
There's not even an excuse.
But yeah, let's keep going here with the article.
Sheriff's office personnel then stepped in. They placed him in a restraining chair about 1:50 p.m., citing policy and observation logs. I'm going to start over. Sheriff's office personnel then stepped in. They placed him in a restraining chair at about 1:50 p.m., citing policy and observation log shows. He'd urinated on himself, so his pants were removed, leaving him in his underwear restrained at the feet, hands, and neck. Then personnel decided to put a spit hood over his head. As he left, one of the men gestured into the security camera as if flipping someone off, the video shows. For hours, Isbill would sit in the chair, hooded, yelling, incoherent, rolling his head. Weiss said it appeared Isbill's hands turned purple from lack of circulation. He got no water or food. He got no bathroom break.
Yeah, straight up torture and murder.
Yeah. By about 11:15 p.m., Isbill had stopped moving. Staff came in, saw that he was unresponsive, took him out of the chair, and tried to revive him, video shows. They gave him Narcan, thinking it would revive him, a report states. Weiss said the man was dead. The observation log, as written by staff, states that CPR was started and medical authorities were notified, arrived and took over care. EMS got a pulse back, transported to Blount Memorial Hospital, the log states. Isbill was pronounced dead at the hospital early the next morning.
Yeah. I don't even know what more else is there to say at this point, except, terrible tragedy. Rest in peace, R.I.P. Elijah Isbill. And I'm sure we'll get more details starting to come out of this to know exactly what was going on here. But this is like what I said earlier, like a the type of shit you hear about, like someone being kidnapped and tortured in a basement, like it's secretly, you know. It's like this is the police. This is what we're doing over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what the military is doing all over the world.
Yeah.
And we see again and again the horrible military practices that we ignore all over the world, come back to the States, becoming more militarized, not just with all the equipment they're using, but also the tactics that an individual cop feels emboldened to use and say, oh, yeah, that's how we did it back in, you know, wherever I was, or, you know, whatever I saw in that movie. That's normal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is normal. It is what this country has decided is okay.
That's a great point. And the guy who literally wrote the textbook on policing literally learned his methods while occupying the Philippines. So quite literally, occupational forces.